Okay, welcome to
Footballland.
A very merry, slightly after Christmas.
Yeah, very merry middle week of Christmas.
Merry
Crimbus.
New Year.
Winter Festival.
Hang on, just before. Guess what, guys? It's coming to New Year's Eve / New Year's Day. What do we do at the end of a episode when we've got very busy Christmas schedules? We do a compilation.
Yeah,
a compilation, a best of.
Compilation kids.
So I propose, well, I've already done it actually, so you don't really need to do anything.
Oh, brilliant.
I've just put together a very best rides of Footballland.
Oh, wow. How did you know what my best ride would be?
They're literally arbitrarily chosen.
okay.
They're not necessarily the best.
I've got a favourite.
Well, what is it?
It's next week's one.
Right, well, it's not in this one.
We haven't done that one yet.
I'll be mad, but no, these are the best ones we've done ever. Let's have a jingle.
Footballland, Footballland, Footballland.
Mark, I have an idea. There are not enough rides out there at the moment in Footballland for children. I'm talking children.
Limonel, you're right.
Last week, we came up with a red light district, very much the opposite of a children's ride. That's an adult's ride. I've been looking through some of them. We don't have enough rides for, say, your preschoolers, your 3 to 5
For
year
a
olds.
horrible moment, I thought you were going to say I've come up with a red light district for the nippers, and I'm not having any of that.
No, I haven't. No, I've come up with Jurgen Klopp's Clip Clop Trots.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's just simply a lovely pony trekking experience
Aww.
for, donkey rides, pony rides, Shetland ponies, mini ones. But of course, to replicate Jurgen Klopp's style of football, these donkeys and ponies will be going like the clappers.
Yeah, it's heavy metal donkey riding.
We need to speed them up. So I don't know how you feed donkeys, but for goodness sakes, we need them going quickly. We need to inject them with something, the donkey equivalent of speed. And we need those children bolted to them, not like, just sit on the donkey quickly. We need them in a harness. We need them
strapped in. Yeah.
It still needs to be through a minute, because whenever I was a child going to a theme park and I was fobbed off by some rubbish little teacups, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I wanted, something that felt thrilling to me, even if it wasn't in the grand scheme of things. And I think a pony going at about 40 miles an hour
Yep, they
along
can.
a racetrack, get these children racing, for goodness sake. Competitive spirit.
Yeah.
Children are very competitive and mean. Children are mean.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kids are cruel.
I'm thinking the best way to strap them down is a parachute harness, which will mean rather than sitting up on the donkey, they'll be kind of lying down. But because these donkeys are going like the blooming clappers, their rear ends will bounce the child's head up and down. So they'll get periodic glimpses of whether they're in the lead or.
So you've strapped the children face down?
No, face up.
But they're
looking at the
face up,
looking at the stars, like Liverpool look at the stars when they're aiming for the stars.
and their heads. So their heads, but bum end or head end?
No, bum end. So that when
You've gone.
When the horse...
You've gone head to bum.
Yeah, head by the tail.
Yeah.
Head by the tail.
It's kind of like a lever that's permanently... It's causing the child to nod as the donkey wellies it along the course. So with every up moment of the nod, they can check on where they are in the grand scheme of things. And I've purely strapped them in with a parachute harness because that's the safest way. These donkeys are really shifting. And if there's a greyhound or something gets on the track, these donkeys are going to gegenpress it. And you don't want a kid falling off a gegenpressed bunch of donkeys.
In salmon farms, I don't know if you know, lads, but you put in small little predator fish that nip the salmon so that they keep swimming quickly, so that they don't get fat and too sort of... and they stay lean and nice to eat for people who eat salmon. So I'm suggesting, like you're suggesting there, we put a couple of predators in.
Yeah.
I don't think of greyhound because I'm not sure greyhounds are that interested in donkeys, but I'm saying we put in a lynx.
Wow, yeah.
And like a puma or something, like a little... one of those little... scary animals, not like a big lion, because we don't want the children to die. But if a child gets bitten by something like a lynx, it's just like getting bitten by a cat. Come on.
Imagine how much better that famous footage would be of the zebra being taken down by the lion if the zebra had a 4-year-old strapped to it with a parachute harness. I mean, that would be, and obviously the child escapes. Maybe if you release the harness, you fly up into the air on some kind of paragliding thing.
I'm going to have to say a word of warning here, guys, that if you do inject a horse or a pony with some speed, horse version of speed, it will reduce their life expectancy. I've looked on Wikipedia about this. So
that's all right.
We're going to have to get some more horses, just as backup horses, but they've got to be quick. They've got to be quick. And in Liverpool kits. Let's put them in Liverpool kits.
Yeah.
How do ponies and donkeys sort of fare in the heat?
Badly.
Is there any way we could get sort of miniature camels, maybe?
Maybe, but don't forget that Jesus was born on a donkey.
Yeah.
So the donkey was the midwife.
I'm more worried about the welfare of the children than the welfare of the animals here right now. But there's one thing. Mark suggested putting the head of the child at the bottom of the donkey. The motion of the head will stop flies from bothering the donkey because it's like a tail, isn't it? So the donkey, while the child is riding the donkey, won't have to worry about wagging its tail to stop the flies.
Right.
So well done, Mark. That's thinking.
Thank you.
For goodness sake, let's think about the welfare of these animals.
I've got a question. You called it Jurgen Klopp's Clip Clop Trots, is that right?
Yeah, Clip Clop Trots. Yeah,
It's the trots bit. That's a different thing, isn't it?
The trots.
I know horses trot.
Yeah.
The trots. I think it's plural, isn't it? As soon as you make a trot plural, it becomes something else.
Yeah, diarrhea. You're talking.
It does sound a bit like a kind of a laxative ride.
I think in many ways it is going to be a laxative. If you imagine bouncing around on a donkey doing 40 miles an hour, you're going to loosen those movements.
And also, you inject a donkey with the donkey version of speed, I imagine it's going to play with its inside. So they are going to defecate more than usual. And that's why, this is a racetrack, but let's put a pit lane in. Let's get a pit lane, just a toilet for the donkeys, that they can go round now and then. I'm sure the children won't mind. Or you get a pit crew in that pit lane who change the child from one donkey to the next when that donkey wants to relieve itself. Because we need to keep hygienic.
Or we could get a pit crew of blacksmiths that can reshoe a donkey in under 10 seconds.
Yeah, but you don't poo through your shoes, Mark. We're not worried about their feet. We're worried about the child getting poo on it because its head is near the bottom.
Yeah, you put the head end, bum end.
Yeah.
The head end of the child at the bum end of the donkey. If you've sort of gone top and tails. If you've
like
gone,
a sleepover.
I think you might need to have a little think about that.
But if you put the head of the child against the head of the donkey, it's either looking at its neck really closely, which is, I don't know how interesting that's going to be for a 4-year-old, or it's looking at where it's just come from, if it's the other way around.
And Liverpool do not look where they've come from. They are only looking forward, Ryan.
I'm not sure if that's exactly true of Liverpool. It would be quite a romantic image and quite nice. You sort of, you're hurtling away from your parents and safety of Footballland on a donkey at 40 miles an hour with your head against the donkey's neck, and you feel its warmth and the veins kind of bulging through its hide as it has no idea what's going on as it's sort of high on donkey speed.
I can see that, yeah.
As a lovely image.
I can imagine that as a mural painted on a wall somewhere in Merseyside.
Yeah.
But guys, these children are not on those donkeys to have a good time. They're on those donkeys to win.
Right.
So you've got to think about what's the most aerodynamic way of riding a donkey if you're 4.
Clinging to its undercarriage. I would say strap the child underneath donkey so there's no...
I'm not sure you want a child there.
They've got massive penises, Mark. They've got huge...
Yeah.
They've got, almost unnecessarily big undercarriages, those donkeys. So
could we incorporate that into the strapping? Could we strap the child using the extended pinouche of the donkey?
If you strap it out the way to the side, like rugby lads do in group photos, you know what I mean? If you tuck it, that's fine. But I think no matter how much you strap that donkey thing,
donkey
sausage length, anywhere at 40 miles an hour, it's going to wriggle free. And whatever stimulants it has, I fear that it's going to, increase in size.
Could it not act as a braking mechanism? Could it be like the lowering its undercarriage? It causes friction in the sand of the end zone, and it slows it down. Otherwise, I can see these donkeys never stopping.
That's a good question, isn't it? How do we stop these donkeys? Because they're not a car.
They've got parachutes.
Oh.
They've got parachutes. So we've got the parachute harness, but the donkey also has a parachute, and that parachute can also catch any feces. The pit crew are no longer needed unless the parachute breaks. So
reserve chute.
If the parachute breaks, one of the pit crew has a shotgun with sniper rifle that if all else fails, he can take that donkey out.
Yeah.
If it's galloping off towards the horizon with a terrified child on it, then that donkey's getting taken out.
Could we involve the parents there? I mean, there's, famously in theme parks and country fetes, there's always a shooting event. They're normally quite difficult. There's no greater motivation to really hit that target than a sort of steroidal donkey running off with your child covered in feces,
Why don't we put Ashley Cole and John Oster's air rifle shoot nearby, and then, the stewards at that particular stall can... We'll have double training. We're going to have to train them into attractions. But let's not put this on the leaflet. The top line on the leaflet is, are you a kid? You think there's not enough childhood attractions at Footballland? Well, here you are. Here's one. It's Jurgen Klopp's Clip Clop Trots.
That's quite an aggressive leaflet. It's like, are you a kid? Are you thinking there's not enough rides for you? You idiot. There's Clip Clop Trots.
Who's the leaflet for?
The children.
But a leaflet that asks, are you a kid, that only gets handed to a kid, I think it's a waste of paper, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think children interact with leaflets now. They'll just think it's litter. They'll instantly drop it.
Maybe for the air rifle range, they're playing a lovely game that's nothing to do with this. If the steward at that stall shouts donkey danger, then they have to turn around and take a donkey out in the far distance.
Or there's a false back.
Yeah.
Then some alarms go off and there's a false back and it drops down and the guy's like, donkey danger, donkey danger. And there's like those cartridges that you get, but they're full of bullets, like AK-47 bullets that you see in 80s films. Yeah. And you swap out your little air pellets and you plug in your cartridge and then you get your sniper scope and you're like,
No, I can see that. I can see that. All right. Well, okay. Well, that's Jurgen.
And you take that donkey down.
Yeah.
And you don't do it because you want to do it. You don't do it because you like killing donkeys.
You just do it because you're trying to save a child.
You didn't come to Footballland to kill donkeys, but Footballland needed a hero that day, and you stood up.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's iron out those details.
And if you don't win a prize for that, then we're doing something seriously wrong at Footballland. Seriously wrong.
Yeah. No, I think that's really impassioned. Okay, well, that's Jurgen Klopp's Clip Clop Trots. Let's iron out some of those details. I'm not sure we need the pit crew anymore.
Oh, my word.
Okay, all right, well, so let's vote on that. Jurgen Klopp's Clip Clop Trots. After three, say aye. 3, 2, 1, aye.
Aye. It's a lovely idea.
Thank you. Really glad to get that across, and something for the children.
Right, so my ride is called Bombing On, and it is a celebration of the attacking instincts of the modern fullback. So, broadly speaking, it takes place on a football field. I think the dimensions of that are up for grabs. We'll talk about that later. But for now, let's assume it's a full-size football pitch.
Yeah.
There are 4 riders, so the left-back and right-back of the Reds and the left-back and right-back of the Blues, okay? But largely you're playing as individuals. So imagine a groove set in the turf.
Sorry, what?
What?
A groove?
Sorry, what?
Confused about?
I'm confused about the groove. What do you mean by a groove? Like in a record?
Did you ever play Scalextrics?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like that. You're sat in a car, or in my head, it's like a one-man bobsleigh, but you're not lying down. You're sitting in it, and that car slots in a Scalextrics groove, and so you can bomb up and down the touchline, basically, in your role as fullback.
Do you turn round or do you go backwards?
You go backwards. So the object is to put as many crosses into the opposition's box as possible and not let your opposing fullback do the same. So you've got a bit of defending to do, but the emphasis, you only score points by putting crosses in. So the car has 2 pedals. One shoots you forward at vast unnatural speed, and the other shoots you backwards at vast unnatural speed. There are no brakes. It is not possible to be stationary. You're either bombing forward or bombing backwards. Okay. Right. Maybe as a safety feature, if you press hard on both pedals, then you come to a stop. But I think the motor will overheat and you'll catch fire, so don't do that. Because you're travelling at such vast speeds, you've got to hold on inside the bobsleigh car to handles either side of you. So although you need to grip at all times, you do have buttons on each handle that are deployed with your thumbs. So if you're the left back, on your left thumb button, that will unleash a ball in, or cross a ball at right angles to where you are. You can do that at any time, but clearly it's pointless to cross a ball into your own area. You want to wait until you're near the opposition's corner flag before you press your left thumb to unleash a ball into the opposition's area.
Where does the ball come from? Inside the car?
Yeah, it comes out of the side of the car. And I'm
like a cannon?
It's sort of like a cannon. And with if you're the left back with your right thumb, so kind of the inside handle, if you press that button, a leg pops up. I don't know whether it's a literal leg or whether it's like a shield thing, but that is when you're defending, that is to try and stop your opposing number from putting their cross in. So if you're stupid enough to press both buttons at the same time, it's possible to block your own shot with your own leg. But
that happens sometimes. That does, we've all kind of, took a swing and it's come off the other foot. Is there a training manual for this? Is there something in the glove box, or are we kind of looking at this on a monitor in the queue? It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah. You need a tutorial on this.
Yeah, most of the people that we're sort of targeting to come to Footballland are the feeble-minded. So.
I think the people that strap you in, because you need like a parachute harness, such as the G-force you're going to experience going forwards or backwards. Those people, as they strap you in, all they need to do is say, see those pedals, have a play with those. See those buttons, have a play with those, and you'll soon get it. There's only 4 things you control.
Okay.
There are further complications which I should introduce.
Further complications.
When you're defending, you're going backwards, and that you don't travel as fast. It's still pretty fast, but you don't travel as fast. So you can't just keep bombing forward, because you've got to keep your eye on what your opposing number is doing, and he is going to be able to travel faster than you. So you need... Is that a mechanics thing, or is that because modern left backs and right backs aren't as good at tracking back? Yeah, it's completely the latter, yeah. I mean, the other complication that I haven't mentioned yet is you need to be on the inside of your opposing number to be able to defend. So when you press your leg button, you stop their cross. But in order to deliver a cross when you're attacking, you need to be on the outside. So that means the grooves don't run entirely parallel. So
it's like that bit in Scale X Tricks.
Exactly. It's like a chicane. You cross over at the halfway line, and that is very dangerous. There is scope for collisions. Oh, gosh.
Career ending.
Career ending, life ending even. So,
But surely then, Mark, the only time that there's any drama is in that middle section, because after that, you're kind of on the opposite tracks and you're a bit screwed.
No, because it's about playing the space. It's about knowing when to go forward, when to unleash a cross, and to keep an eye on what your opposition number is doing. If both of you are just firmly in your attacking corner spots, just pinging in crosses, it's just an exercise in how many times you can press the cross button. But also you can't be stationary, so you're going to crash into the advertising hoardings, which are padded, and I've trademarked the name. They're going to be padvertising hoardings.
Nice.
Because if you just slam on your accelerator and go forward, you're just going to career off the pitch.
It's like a springy boards either side. So actually, there is no braking at all, as you've said. But to brake, you have to either jam reverse quickly and then you kind of grind to a halt and then go backwards, or you smash into the advertising hoardings, and then it springs you back, which might be actually quicker. Yeah, I like that. I like the tactics of that. But I say again, Mark, I mean, the middle bit, that's where all the action happens.
Yeah, I'm also a bit worried about vomit.
Oh, God. It rears its ugly head every time.
You know, going forward, flying backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards.
Yeah.
Could we maybe attach some kind of nose bag to them, maybe like a sick bag? A paper nose bag.
Yeah. Mark, this doesn't help with sick and vomiting, but instead of having the Scalextric track where it just crosses over, how about a jump function in your car where you can leap from track to track? Because then you can change track anytime you want. Just by, all you need to do is add another trigger button.
You could also block a high cross as well. You know, it's I sort of feel like we could be using the car itself to block a cross. It seems like a slightly larger surface than a
giant leg.
Yeah, that's true. I'm worried that I mean, I cannot stress enough the speeds we're talking about. You're going to need to grip hold hard with both hands. So if you want to add more controls, I think maybe we do buttock clenching. If you clench your left buttock, then that jumps. If you clench your right buttock, then you block a shot with the entire car. Yeah, something like that, because you're not going to want to take your hands off those handles. Otherwise, you'll leave the car. You could get run over by your own bobsleigh.
A lot of with eye motion technology, you can actually control things with eye movement. So as long as they track your eye movement on like a big monitor on the windscreen of this thing, you can actually do everything with your eyes. So you could blink to fire, you could wink left to extend your leg, you can wink right to jump to the other track. I mean, as long as you're good at winking and blinking. I guess the acid test is, could Stephen Hawking ride it?
He's dead.
He would actually.
He's dead.
Well, apart from death being a barrier, he would be brilliant at it, because he's got an amazing range of controls just by blowing. So he would in this world of bombing on, he is the ultimate champion, and maybe we should call it the Stephen Hawking bombing on ride in honour of that.
Weirdly, the lifespan of the dynamic fallback is a curious one. They sort of never seem to last. They sort of burst on the scene. They were almost like the olden days pacey striker. They burst onto the scene and have a good kind of 2 to 4 seasons max, and then disappear. Could that be reflected in the duration of the ride, so we can get through the queue a bit quicker?
That's a great idea.
Could your car physically get older as it goes on?
It slows down and gets more rubbish,
Maybe physically it deteriorates. I don't know how you can do that and make the car new again.
But the wheels could get lumpy.
Well, maybe, the spray stuff that referees use to mark out free kicks and 10-yard lines.
Yeah.
If we could build so you sit in an empty frame, and then whoever's strapping you in sprays you with all that stuff, and that is your car, and it goes solid.
Yeah.
But it's slowly disintegrating over the 3 minutes that you're playing this game
until you're completely naked, just
you're
underneath.
A nude fullback with no ability to run anywhere.
Could we make everyone be naked before they get on the ride? Could you, get everyone naked and put them in this ride?
They have to,
and then you get the full effects of it. You like on Naked Attraction when they lift up the screen and you see their penis just winking at you.
Yeah,
and it's the frame of a car that you fill with vanishing spray that lasts exactly 3 minutes. So it's iced up vanishing spray. You're naked underneath. You're controlling it by a series of blinks and winks, and then after 3 minutes finishes, that's when it's time to finish, because you're just naked in a skeleton car.
So just to recap, this is the Sir Stephen Hawking's, was he a Sir?
Just Professor
Sir.
Professor Stephen Hawking's foam car bombing on naked crossing game. Is that?
Yeah.
It should be called Cream, shouldn't it? Naked Cream Car. And I think one of the adverts for this entire park should be the aftermath of a game where a naked, confused person who's just been sick on himself is sitting in a car, blinking wildly. I mean, what better advert? I don't know what's going on, but I want to go there.
I think, is this what you imagined when you started this pitch? Was this how you imagined it would go?
No, it's gone in a beneficial direction. This is way better than I imagined. Yeah.
Do you want to maybe quickly either maybe just a bit of finessing? Is there a cherry on the cake from your sort of original pitch that you've not got around to yet? Or,
you could put a cherry on the cream so it looks like you're a giant sundae driving this giant ice cream up and down a field as it slowly melts until the cherry just plonks right on the end of your penis, and that's when you know it's time to finish and get out of your car and exit through the gift shop, get your clothes back on, maybe pay for your clothes. Yeah. Maybe that's how we make money off this ride. There's a photo taken of you on the ride completely naked with a cherry on your dong. Yeah. And they've taken a photo of that, and you have to buy it, otherwise they'll publish it.
Yeah.
It's
generating
competition, but this might be the most elaborate ride we've come up with so far.
It's generated a new cliche, hasn't it? A new footballing cliche. It's not over till the fat lady sings. Now becomes it's not over till the cherry's on the penis. I mean, the one detail I hadn't pitched, which I'm not sure is relevant now, is how we award points. Is there a remote controlled striker, and you can only score if he nods it in? Does it matter?
Do you know what?
I think it just gets.
I think that what you've done here is you've invented a ride that reinstates the fun of football. You know, that it's not all about winning. Yeah. You know, there's not necessarily any reason to play this game. You know, you just get on the ride and you just have, I think fun, but you get involved. You give it your best shot, and I would leave any. I would leave points.
And even the concept of the ball isn't needed anymore. No. You're just two naked ice creams bombing up and down until a cherry lands itself on your genitals. That's pretty much it. You don't need joysticks. Yeah. You don't. I mean, like, the blinking aspect is, I think, should still be maintained. Maybe it's more how many blinks you can do in 3 minutes. But other than that, I don't think we need a ball. We don't need to change tracks anymore.
I don't even know if we need to. Yeah, I don't even know if we need to vote on this one. I think it just sort of nonchalantly strolls into Footballland. Yeah, you know.
Well,
Nothing said. We all just move out of its way and we go, there it is.
Cool.
There's the Professor Stephen Hawking's ice cream, cherry on your bell end, bumming on game.
I'm definitely ready to vote on this. I don't know if you guys are, but
we should for parity. It's not fair to the other rides.
Okay, all right. All in favour of this Professor Stephen Hawking cherry on the bell end, bombing on simulator. Say aye. 3, 2, 1.
Aye.
Congratulations, Great. Mark. That's a winner.
Thank you. Yeah. It feels like very much a joint effort that grew in ways I hadn't previously imagined.
Yeah. Came engorged, didn't it?
Foot. Footballland.
Mark, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Poppy Hillstead to Footballland HQ. Poppy Hillstead is a London-based filmmaker, illustrator, animator, actor and podcaster from Lincolnshire. Her podcast, Poppy Hillstead Has Entered the Chat, features her diving into obscure internet chat rooms and acting out the conversations with fellow comedians. Hello, Poppy.
Hiya, you're right.
You're from Lincolnshire. Is there a theme park in Lincolnshire?
Yeah, there is actually. There's Pleasure Island, but I think it might have got shut down because of, a bad injury or something like that. But that was like right next to this like reptile farm place, so you could do a double whammy in one day. You could go and have a look at some lizards and stuff, and then go on a dangerous ride, and it would be.
So you do it in that order. You'd go lizards in the morning, and then you'd chill out in the theme park the afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Chill out in the dangerous, possibly fatal theme park.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to die on that day, you want to get the lizards done first, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Would you rather die on a dangerous fairground ride or eaten by lizards?
I don't know. Eaten by lizards, that's going to be really slow, isn't it? Because they haven't got any teeth, so it's just going to be a slow...
Haven't they?
Well,
lizards don't have any teeth.
I don't know, actually.
Well, was that for safety at the farm?
They were removed, yeah. Just file them all down.
Okay, let's get into the legals. You, Poppy Hillstead, agreed to hand over your ride to Mark and Anthony at Footballland for posterity, and you're swearing on a copy of Shoot magazine from the year 2000. Just to prove that you have the copy there, who is on the front cover?
Michael Owen.
Who was seen on the cover of Shoot magazine was
Michael Owen.
Right, let's hear your idea for a ride.
Do you know what? I'm just going to get my notes.
Well, you have sent us some photos.
We've got photos and illustrations as well, which they're very detailed.
Yeah, very impressive, very detailed.
Okay.
Talk us through the ride idea from your notes.
I'm thinking, I'm just going to say it, Teddy Sheringham blimp.
Teddy Sheringham's blimp, yeah.
Yeah, so it's him. He's in his Nottingham Forest kit. And he's like a big old blimp. I'm thinking it's going to be really, really, really high up, like an insane amount of height there. And, I'm thinking like to get there, you could go up an escalator and then a helicopter could just pick you up and that will fly you into his kind of like arse area, which is where,
right,
stuff can come and go.
Yeah.
By blimp, you mean kind of Zeppelin, kind of airship?
I think so.
One end is a massive Teddy Sheringham face, and then the other end is his exposed rectum, which you fly into in a helicopter. Does the helicopter fly in there, or do you have to disembark the helicopter and jump into his bum?
I mean, I was thinking there'd be a kind of landing shelf just under the anus, and it would land there, and then you could disembark and stuff like that. So I think it's too dangerous for it to fly right into the anus.
Yeah.
If you think of a balloon, you can't get inside the balloon, you go in the basket. But what you're asking people to do is get inside a balloon, which is very difficult, but also so intriguing.
Exactly, yeah,
My main question is, why Nottingham Forest? He played there for one season in 1992. He's played for a lot of other clubs more successfully. I mean, why have you chosen Nottingham Forest for him to be in the kit of?
I think that was his wonder years, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, he played in 1992. He played 42 games for them and he scored 14 goals.
14
he was about
goals,
25 years old. So the blimp itself is, you'd expect, having listened to you, Poppy, you'd expect Teddy Sheringham to be vertical. So, his head at the top, his body, and then his legs dangling down. But you've got him almost like he's on all fours, like a pig.
It's the best way do you know what I mean? For him to put the landing pad on show, which is just at the anus area. And I think if he was upright, there'd be legs and shit all in the way. So he needs to be bent over.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a floating Teddy Sheringham pig type thing? Blimp man, he's a blimp man. You enter through his bum, just do the best that you can. Blimp man, he's a blimp man. Got him in his forest kids, at least it's Northwest Ham.
Image 2 you've sent us, the river that runs from his bum into the main area of the blimp. You get on a small gondola, you go through like a lazy river, you go past a waxwork of baby Teddy Sheringham, which is located near the anus, which has hairs on the inside, it seems.
You sail past the waxwork of baby Teddy and you're like, this is how it all begun. It's quite a musty area because I wanted to evoke memories of being in pubs in Nottingham. And so it's just musty, smoky. You can stop off for a minute if you want. If it's all a little bit too much, you can stop and play some pool at the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get off the ride and play some pool, because it is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Page 2, you suddenly drop from a waterfall into a giant lake. Can you explain what's going on there?
I don't really know I just wanted a bit of a thrill, because you know, you're relaxing, you're seeing him growing up and stuff like that with the waxworks at the side, and then it's quite a relaxing atmosphere with people playing pool and stuff as you sail on through. And then I just wanted I wanted to wake people up a little bit. So, so basically...
They look terrified in the drawing.
Yeah, and it's a big drop. You know, they've dropped into this, like, pool and they're freezing. So I thought there should be a paramedic there just to calm it down a little bit. You know, they've had the thrill. There's a little stop off. You know, have a pint, have some oxygen, get wrapped up in the foil blanket thing, and then you can really enjoy the rest of the world.
Foil blankets, of course, used after marathons. Teddy Sheringham's career was a marathon. He played until he was 40.
Oh, that's good.
And, you know, Poppy, you've absolutely nailed it there. Although in this blimp, he's 25, forever 25, never been kissed.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the stomach. It just says, have some fish and chips and play some poker.
Yeah.
What's all that about?
He likes poker, doesn't he? I looked up, I tried putting in what is Teddy Sheringham's favourite food, and I couldn't. Nobody's asked these kind of questions before.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if I ever met him, you know, you need to dive a little bit deeper into what is he about and everything. And I just got a bit of a sense he's a bit of a fish and chip kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like. And, you know.
Yeah.
I thought the stomach could be a good, like, you know, you need a little break again. I know they've just had a break, haven't they?
They had, yeah. But that was because they were hypothermic. I mean, this is a proper break to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, this is... You've survived.
Yeah.
And now... I mean, also, I can't think of a better place to have a meal than inside someone else's stomach.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah.
In the picture, you've got 2 picnic benches, families eating their meals, and then towering over them, standing at about 8 foot, 9 foot tall, is a giant Teddy Sheringham, in brackets, fun costume for the kids. So he's got a T-shirt with a picture of a woman.
Well, no, actually, I was going to say, I thought you'd get confused about this. This is actually a person within a big Teddy Sheringham costume, so that their face is so they can breathe.
And he's towering over the family just eating their...
Yeah, they're trying to concentrate. If you can see the woman, she's like really trying not to look at the Teddy Sheringham like mascot thing and just concentrate on the poker. It's quite a stressful environment. And I do have to flag as well, we haven't got a license so we can have music or anything, so it's going to be dead silent as well.
So like Wetherspoons.
Yeah.
No TVs. No. And if there are, it's just showing BBC News 24 with the subtitles on.
Yeah. So you're just going to be hearing that shuffling kind of like plastic rubbing, like that plasticky, do you know what I mean? Like costume material just shuffling around while people get on with the poker.
It's probably quite top heavy as well, isn't it? If he moves too violently, he's going to topple over. It's like a tortoise, isn't it? If he goes over, he can't get back up again.
Yeah, or a woodlouse. I'm just imagining the smell of the fish and chips inside this giant stomach. People have just recovered from hypothermia, from oxygen deprivation, for altitude sickness for many of them. And here they are playing some poker, having some fish and chips while trying not to look at a giant Teddy Sheringham.
If it does topple over, we ain't got enough staff to get it back up. So I might put a little sign to visitors being like, if you see it on its back, help it back up. Do you know what I mean?
I can't imagine anyone's balance is going to be that good in a blimp. You know, it's floating around and 5 or 6 people trying to help a giant Teddy Sheringham to its feet while falling over themselves. It's just not a great canteen atmosphere, you know, is what I'm saying.
Those poor people trying to play serious poker as well.
It is fun, though. It's a fun atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly.
And then into the lungs. The lungs, you think breathing, don't you? You don't think a gallery of ex-girlfriends, but yet that's what you've gone with for the lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got his ex-girlfriends.
He dated Danielle Lloyd and Katie Price, not at the same time. But
yeah.
Two kind of
high profile, of course. Yeah.
Models. Yeah.
And that's why I thought put them up there in pictures, because the pictures, like, they're not pictures, private pictures, they're public domain, so you can be able to get around that.
So you're talking like their photos on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave up biology before GCSE, but I think the lungs are very much where the memory is housed, isn't it? So the lungs being a photo album makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And famously, he dated Danielle Lloyd when she won Miss Great Britain in 2006, 2005, and she had to renounce the crown because they hadn't declared that they were going out, and Teddy Sheringham was one of the judges, so he's not averse to
the trouble with that, Mark, is Poppy, is that this is Teddy Sheringham age 25 in 1992, so what you're asking us to imagine is his ex-girlfriends but in the future.
Yeah.
His ex-future girlfriends,
It's
like 13 years later. So is it them aged? Because Danielle Lloyd, I don't know how old she was at the time in 2006, but she would have been like early childhood, wouldn't she, in 1992?
Yeah.
So would it be a picture of her as a baby? Or would it be a picture of her in the future?
School photo?
It could be you could get a picture of her as a baby and then age. Do you know what I mean? When people are missing, they say this is what they'd look like now. And it could be...
It's Danielle Lloyd's adult face on a baby.
Or it could be computer generated.
Yeah. This is what we think she does look like now. So please keep a lookout.
Yeah.
Even though we know what she looks like now, this is what we think she would have looked like if she'd grown up from the baby that she did grow up from.
I've got it right. In one lung, this is what she looks like as a child and what we think she'll look like aged up. And then you go, okay. And then you go into the other lung and it's like, and here's the Wikipedia picture to show that we were right.
Pointless things I've ever heard. I love it.
What's there in Teddy's lung? A picture of Danielle when she was young, and she's still not that old today. She started as a baby, they say. What else exists down here? Other pictures of girlfriends, it's just not that clear. This one has had a boob job, and whilst I really am not a snob, I think I'll just fuck off out through the gob. No, I'm out.
Okay, if you look at a body in the mirror or just on anyone's body, you see the lungs. They're about 3/4 upwards. There's so much to do after that. Yet you've just written, then you just fuck off out the mouth. So you've kind of eschewed a lot more of, Teddy Sheringham's face is massive on the blimp. But instead, you've bypassed that a little bit in your plans, just going out the mouth. So my question is why?
My hand got tired. But I've got repetitive strain injury and I felt it flare up a bit when it got to that point. So I just thought, get him out of there ASAP. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. Well, and also, oxygen's going to be low at that point, isn't it? We can't give everyone oxygen, for goodness sake.
You need to get out of there quick.
We're not, they're not Sherpas. These people, they're not looking out for you. They're just trying to give you a good time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, Poppy, anything else to back up your statement, much like when you put supplemental information on a university application?
Just think if you don't take it, I'll build it somewhere else. So
yeah, that is a threat.
Yeah.
That is some threat.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favour then, Mark, of the Teddy Sheringham blimp, say aye. 3, 2, 1, aye.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations,
yes.
Poppy. You've smashed it.
Thank you.
Unanimous.
Thanks, guys. I'm delighted.
Let me take your hand. I wanna take you to football land. It's built in the sand. And I'll run out of lyrics.
I hope you enjoyed that.
That was
episode.
nice, wasn't it? Nice and nostalgic. We had some great ones.
Do you
there.
remember when that one happened?
Yeah, God, they were good ones.
times.
That was mad.
Really good ones.
It's mad that you knew what my favourite ones were.
And I got it right, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. That's what I just
know
said.
you.
That's what
I know you. I know you.
Yeah.
I know you really
You've
well.
seen all of me.
Anyway, thanks for indulging in a best of. We're really sorry we couldn't do a new one, but we'll be back.
A new one next week.
Next week.
Yeah, a very
next week.
new
Happy
one.
New Year.
A very best
Yeah,
ones.
Happy New Year.
Next year is
sensible, but not too
2022.
sensible, and,
What happens in 2022, guys?
Footballland gets built for real.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get our skates on, which is why this was a compilation episode, is because we've been actually busy building parts of the park.
For the World Cup, which is next year or this year if you're listening in 2022, which you might be.
You might be.
Last year if you're listening in 2023.
Yeah.
Or 2 years ago if you're listening in 2024.
24, yeah.
Should I keep doing?
No, that's it. I think
you've
let's go.
covered
Let's go.
the
Happy
basic
New Year,
idea.
or
Okay.
just happy another time if you're listening to this again. All right.
Happy another time.
Happy another time. Bye-bye.
Da, 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 da.